If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the no's on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, then I will follow you into the dark. Then I will follow you into the dark.
I love that song. So, how do you handle the fact of your impending death? That's the question for this morning. If heaven and hell decide that they both are satisfied, illuminate the no on their vacancy signs. If there's no one beside you when your soul embarks, then I'll follow you into the dark. In the middle verse of that song, it talks about Catholic rule and getting knuckles rapped by the church, a woman dressed in black. Maybe your answer to the question, like the writer of that song, is cynical in terms of how you view death, or maybe in terms of the feel and tone of that song, you're feeling a loving perspective in terms of how you're looking forward to death. Lots of people today have no memory of the Christian or God's take on the subject, and they draw little comfort from the Christian perspective. Too many bad experiences with those hypocritical, judgmental people. Too much fear in the love that they were supposedly teaching. For others, they deny death's inevitability and just don't think about it. Live for the day. Carpe diem. And when they do that, I think, ironically, I know that you end up missing out on what your life can really be. I think that your life can only be understood, fully understood, when you consider that you will die. If you don't believe in death, then you really can't completely believe in life. In order to truly live, you need to live to some degree in a thoughtful, wise way with the end in mind. Which doesn't mean going through your whole life like a beat poet or a philosopher and wearing black and having this morbid sense of doom with a dark cloud following you, or maybe a dark cloud up ahead that you're walking into. Not that. It's just that you need to understand that there is great wisdom that can enrich and enliven and illumine your life in understanding or getting a sense of your mortality. You and I were mortal. The writer of the book Ecclesiastes, an Old Testament wisdom book, says in chapter 12, "Honor and enjoy your Creator while you're still young, before the years take their toll and your vigor wanes." Imagine everything turning slowly to black and white and fading here. "Before your vision dims and the world blurs and the winter years keep you close to the fire. In old age, your body no longer serves you so well. Muscles slacken, grip weakens, joints stiffen. The shades are pulled down on the world, and you can't come and go at will. Things grind to a halt. The hum of the household fades away. You're wakened now by birdsong. Hikes to the mountains are a thing of the past. Even a stroll down the road has its terrors. Your hair turns apple blossom white, adorning a fragile and impotent matchstick body. Yes, you're well on your way to eternal rest while your friends make plans for your funeral. Life, lovely as it is, lovely while it lasts, is soon over. Life as we know it, precious and beautiful, ends. The body is put back in the same ground it came from. The spirit returns to God who first breathed it. It's all smoke, nothing but smoke. The quester says that everything's smoke. The end, says Blaise Pascal, is dreary. However fine the rest of the play, they put a little dirt over your head, and that is the end forever. That is the end awaiting the world's most illustrious life. Philosopher Peter Kreeft wrote in his book on Ecclesiastes that Alexander the Great is said to have directed that he be buried with his naked arm hanging out of his coffin, with his hand empty, to show the world that the man who conquered the world left it as he entered it, naked. Naked I came from my mother's womb, naked I return. And then finally, famous atheist Bertrand Russell, his perspective is this: we die, we rot, and that's it. Is everybody feeling happy already this morning? Where's the meaning in all of this? How in the world does contemplating those realities add to your life? And yet, I believe it does, if handled the right way. And if you read the book of Ecclesiastes, if you were here last week and caught some of those death references, maybe you saw some of the clues that this writer gives to where we find meaning through our mortality. In chapter 7, the writer writes, "It's better to spend your time at a funeral than at festivals, for you are going to die, and you should think about it while there's still time." While there's still time. Which is why I am grateful, and not in a morbid way, but I'm very thankful that I do funerals once in a while, or visit people in the last stages of palliative care, and get to see what the future will one day be. So for us who believe Christ conquered death, we have nothing really to be afraid of when we weigh our mortality. And I think because we're not afraid, if death is just a monster to you and inexplicable and there are no answers, I think it's harder to contemplate it as actively or fully or meaningfully than were you to see it as really just a finger snap and a move from glory, this glory, with all of its pain and suffering and goodness and grace, into future eternal glory. And I think then, and only then, when you believe that, can you really carry and understand your death for what it is. Through death, God is speaking to you, to all of us. Through death, He keeps us. We don't follow Him. We do, I guess, follow Christ into death. And He, I guess, goes with us into death and through death. And that is the gift of our faith to the fact of all of us dying.